Then we move into sponsors. Sponsors, it could be a cost per mention. So, for example, on the Practice to Practice podcast, we have sponsors on the show. We have mid-roll sponsors, which is one cost. We have pre-roll, which is at the very beginning, which is a different cost. And then we include the post-roll. That's the end of the podcast. We end up including that if someone does a mid-roll. We also, in our sponsorships include a lot of these things I'm going to mention. We don't just say, buy one sponsorship. We say, here's a package, here's a silver, here's a gold, here's a platinum, where you get Instagram posts or promotion through email or a conference sponsorship, or maybe you do some sort of discussion about their product or even have them on a podcast or on your YouTube channel. So you're in some way saying, I like this product. I have vetted this product. I use this product, or I have people that I know that have used this product and I support it. To me, doing that in an ethical way to make sure that it's something that you like, that you can support, is really important. And so we have sponsors and we have conversations, often difficult conversations, when things aren't working. And so, if we have someone that has a negative experience with one of our sponsors, we directly reach out to their marketing team, to their IT team, to whatever team needs to be connected, and do our best from our side to say, hey, we're promoting you. We're saying that this is a great product to use. That wasn't our customer's experience. Can we bridge that in some way? And oftentimes through that advocacy, the people get free months, or, there's changes. Like, for example, for therapy notes, in March of 2020, we had a ton of our Next Level Practice members say, Simple Practice has teletherapy as part of their platform. Like, why doesn't Therapy Notes? And I reached out to Chris, the head of development and marketing. I said, we're hearing this from everybody that with COVID, they're moving towards teletherapy. Like, you're going to sink if you don't get this out like in the next week. And they actually released it in beta test to our community first before it ever went public, to be able to try it out, work out the kinks. And we were able to help provide them that feedback, and they were able to provide even better services for our communities. So the sponsorships, I look for long-term relationships where I can say for the next 3 to 5 years, I can count on Therapy Notes. I can count on other sponsors to be sponsors of the show, but also that they're getting that feedback, that they're getting that connection, where it's not just I'm taking their money and it's not just they're paying me the money, but it's genuinely a relationship where we're helping each other grow. So I broke down a variety of different types of numbers on how to make an extra $10,000 a year, because sometimes it feels like, oh my gosh, 10K, how would I make 10K? But when you actually break it down to look at the numbers, it's sometimes like, oh, that feels kind of doable. So 10K a year extra for you in passive income or extra streams of income would be $833 per month extra. So that would break down to $27.40 per day. All right. So second, that would be 134 affiliate referrals of $75. So then 134 affiliate referrals of $75. Then 25 people paying, it could be 25 people paying $400 for a mastermind group. Next, it would be $97, 97 people buying a product of $103.09. So you can start to think, okay, what could I offer for $103? How would I find 97 people? How would I find 25 people that would pay $400? You could have 20 podcast episodes and the sponsors would be paying $500. Two high-end consulting clients, paying $5K each. 3 Amazon purchases per day, where you got paid out $9.13. So that would have to, for that 3 to 5%, be a pretty large purchase, but maybe you have a bunch of blog posts that point to those. 8.59 courses sold per month at $97. So less than 9 courses a month for $97, or 4.23 courses a month at $197. So you're not even talking that many courses to sell. Or this is my favorite one, because I didn't even realize the math was going to be this way. I just thought, like, what would 29 people be? And it was $29 a month. If you had a 29 person membership community that had $29 per month that they were paying, then that would equal $10,000 a month. So that feels way more reasonable than just like, oh my gosh, how do I build streams of income? I need 29 people to give me $29 a month. Okay, what could I offer in my niche that would go from one-on-one to one-to-many that would attract 29 people? Like, it wouldn't take a ton to really do that. So first, before we jump into the product, oftentimes really smart people want to build the product first. They want to build the income first. And so they spend all this time creating this perfect e-course. I'm going to get 29 people to spend $29 on it. But really, what we've seen is that's a big mistake because you're guessing what your audience wants. You're guessing at their price point. When I first launched Next Level Practice, I went through this process that I'll talk through in a second called the 3P process. I thought people were going to want to pay around $29 a month because the product before that was our 1-year practice plan. So our 1-year practice plan was a one-time $17 fee, and they got a weekly email that just walked them through starting a practice. So I thought, well, what's the next step up from that? Some sort of membership community. Okay, if I could just have, it be $29, that seems like a good jump. But through the interviews, and I'll actually walk through that whole process, found that people were willing to pay anywhere between $60 and $100 a month if they got a very robust plan. So I would have left tons of money on the table if I had had it be just $29 a month. I also wouldn't have built a program with my team that was so exciting and actually meeting the needs that people wanted. And so if we start with growing your niche, which a lot of you have already done, you're experts in your area, you've been able to figure out what your specialty area is. For most of you, your niche area is pretty solid, and you may want to grow that a little bit. Next, we want to grow your audience. We want to build that up in a variety of ways, which we'll talk about in a second and how to do that. So you want to grow that audience so that people are able to actually tell you, here's what we want to buy. Here's what we're thinking about. Here's what we're going to grow. And so then they are telling you, here's what we would like, instead of you just guessing. All right. So your very first step when we're looking at adding additional streams of income, it's not sketching out the product. It's not setting up an Instagram. It's creating an awesome opt-in. So most people that do an opt-in are going to do just some cheap little checklists, and then you're on an email list. Nobody wants to be on an email list. I mean, by a show of, like, I can see a bunch of your hands. Well, not your hand. I can't see your hands. I can see your faces. And if you raise your hand, I'll be able to see it. But by a show of hands of those who have video, how many of you would just like love to be on another email list? You're just like, you know what I need? I need another email list to be on. Yeah. Okay. Now I want those of you that are on video, I want you to think about what's one problem in your life. You don't have to share it, but just one problem. It could be how to get my teenager to be less pissed off. It could be dealing with a co-parent. It could be, organizing a PTO meeting, like whatever problem is in your head. Now imagine there was a free email course that walked you through how to solve that problem. How many of you would want that email course to help solve that problem that you're dealing with? Right. Yeah. So I see quite a few hands. You'd at least consider it versus, hey, I have an email course about PTO meetings. It's like, I don't want that. Whereas it's like, oh, I know you have the pain of you're the new PTO president. And I actually have this course that's totally free, and it just helps you stay a little bit more organized. I share what works for me. And I feel like it's helped my kid have a better school from being the PTO president. Okay, well, I'll at least give it a shot. I'll at least go from considering whether I want that to, okay, I might actually like take some action on that. So an email course, the goal is to take people from that know, like, trust process. Zig Ziglar taught us that. So first, people have to know that you exist. So in some way they know you exist. You're on a podcast, you're on a YouTube, you do a Instagram reel. Somehow they're like, oh, Brandon. Now I know Brandon's face. Brandon then says, you know what? I have this amazing email course that it's totally free. It's a way that I just want to help you in some way. Brandon, will you put in the chat or unmute? Just tell me what niche you think you might want to do, and we'll use that as an example for this email course.